My name is Jimmy, and we're going to take a look at what makes good games great and where maybe we could see some improvements. If you read the title, you know what we're going to be looking at, and if you're using your eyes, yes, it's just as fun and beautiful as it looks. Let's get into it. This will be the last game that I did get a slight preview of. I decided after the fact that I'll stop looking at them prior to. So the capsule art's okay. It's very beautiful. I feel like the black outline on the text it makes it clash more than it needs to with the background. You might also want to include Space Odyssey, even if it's not the most legible because of how small the letters would have to be, but just to help separate it from whatever this Arcadium game is. And this is a bad capsule art. Sorry to throw shots, but it's just, that's not, anyway. All right, let's do this trailer here. I mean, it looks beautiful. Look at all these saturated, like how highly saturated it is. And it's not like overly saturated either. It just looks so gorgeous. Beautiful planets. Sitting through the planets way too long. That was a long time. Are we even done? Okay, we basically just finished. So we got 15 seconds. Back from 5 seconds. So we have 10 full seconds of rotating through planets here. Like, they're gorgeous and they're very impressive, but we don't need 10 seconds of planets. That's for sure. This is really exciting for people like me, but if you're really looking for that larger audience, I would leave those for the end of the trailer. What the hell did we just see there? What were those? You know, like, we have no indication of what's happening here, so it's either we need to draw it out or explain what we're seeing in some fashion, or we can just cut it. I'm sorry, did that just, like, end the trailer? Yeah, it just feels like it ends and starts a new trailer. God, that looks so fucking sick. Oh, that black hole? Okay, so this is the ability showcase. That's the same ability as the first ability we saw, wasn't it? Am I tripping? It's like the same ability. We don't need to reiterate ourselves in the trailer at all. I mean, really, we don't want to reiterate things unless they're essential. You know what I mean? We've got shops in space. Wish list on Steam. Oh, and then it just ends. Okay. Definitely need like an ending splash. Like with that guy's so cute. With like, you know, the name and all that goodness. Wish list on Steam, etc. And we really need to condense some of this. Like, we have 10 seconds of planets. We have this little time period like right here where I don't know what I'm seeing. You know, so like we can literally get rid of all of that there. And we don't want to make it feel like it's time to leave. You know, if we think it's time to leave, if somebody thought that wasn't enough of a game right there, they might hit back. You know, we don't want that. We definitely need to interlace these abilities in with the rest of the video. And we don't need to showcase the two abilities, that's for sure. Remember, this is an action game, so we want to make sure that it feels action heavy. Quick cuts help with that a lot. Anyway, I'm so excited to play this. So we're in Arcadium now. I did lose the first recording because the audio was just absolute trash. But I was able to go through the video, so we'll be able to go and really touch on all the things really nice and quick. Like, starting off, I feel like the main menu is very plain, especially after we just got all those beautiful colors in the trailer and the beautiful capsule art. Like, there's so many colors everywhere. And I believe my main menu is not the default one. I'm pretty sure I changed that because I didn't mention that. You can just change the menu color. It's so fucking cool. I am going to turn on these scan lines. They're not on by default, but I'm going to turn them on because I wanted to show you something with that there. Let's see, show damage, full screen frame rate. I'll leave the glow on because I think everybody needs to see just how fucking beautiful these planets are. I need to stop swearing so much. Keyboard and controller are exactly what you'd expect. We got the audio in here. Another thing in this main menu, I've quit accidentally twice now. There definitely needs to be a confirm whenever we're trying to exit our games, just to make sure the player doesn't accidentally exit. And we'll come back to this in the conclusion, but this is the pixel font compared to the other font. As you see, it's not really much different. It's different enough, but just barely. I just feel like we could use, if we're gonna have different versions of the font, we should also get a really pixelated one, just for immersion in that arcade experience. I said I was gonna bring this all up in the conclusion, but I brought it up now. Whatever. Look at how fucking cute these ships are. They all have their own little abilities. One thing about these abilities, there's no cooldown timers on them, but they do have cooldowns. We really need to make sure we let people know, because that might be their deciding factor between that black hole and this radiant bomb, you know? I love the bomb, though. I'm taking the bomb. All right, I'm gonna get ready, and then I'll skip ahead to some more interesting stuff here soon. You guys don't need all this spoiled for you. All right, so I finished doing all of that. One thing I want to say is that we don't really want to just leave this in a single menu as we're going on in here. Just because we always want to design our games around the dumbest possible people that could play it. So it might just be a nice touch to have it be like survive, like a large caps survive, because that's what we're doing. You know, survive, show the timer, and then let them mess around or something like that. I'm going to skip over each of these in the future. So one thing about this menu here, I have no idea why things are outlined ever. I keep seeing it, and I don't know why. It'll be on different things. Maybe it just means I haven't selected it. I'm pretty sure I've selected that one before. I don't know. We'll find out. Now you'll see with the scan lines, they're not on top of the actual game. Like they're only in the background, these scan lines. I'm going to skip through all those little cuts there. You guys do not need to know about all the cool abilities and stuff you can choose from this game. Now, I'm going to mention something, just that it feels kind of unnatural to fly in space this way. We just have such tight controls. But also, it might be very unfun to not have it be that way. So it's not really... And for all we know, the developer already tried to do that and realized it was just dog shit. Stop swearing. This game so far has felt really balanced to play. I don't know if that's true all the way through, but it's been a great time so far. So whenever we're doing up these planets here, it's really hard to tell when certain ones are finished. Can't really tell all the time, especially when you don't know their luminosity. Especially for a non-glow player. So it's very obvious on some of these planets, but on other ones, it is very difficult. I could literally spend just like look at this thing. Ugh. And I don't know if you can hear the music entirely. Like, you should be able to hear it pretty, like, well enough. At the very least. In the last one, it was loud as hell. But the music is not... It's very... It breaks the immersion, right? Because we want to be in an arcade game right now. Everything is super pixelated. It's looking really nice. But then we get this heavy metal music. And we didn't have heavy metal in the arcades, you know? Just get some nice beat boops. You can get plenty of high octane beat boops. I just recently did an analysis on like negotiations have failed, and it just has like phenomenal beat boop music. I don't know what the actual term, video game music, I guess. I don't fucking know. Retro music. Stop swearing. Look at how cute that was. This game is it's really fun to play. Like, can you imagine trying to navigate this with actual spaceship controls? It'd be a fucking nightmare. These little chocolate chip cookie asteroids feel a little weird, you know? I don't know if you can see them super well right now. I'll try to fire just the enemies. The semi-automatic and manual controls are really nice. But, like... You see that? It kind of just looks like a chocolate chip cookie. I'm an idiot. I took all my points in damage. Leave me alone. No. I don't want your Girl Scout cookies. Stay away from me, sir, sir, sir. Yes. And we're floating. We're floating through space. Killing some moons. Loving the place. Like, how nice would it be if, like, the pixeliest text you could provide us actually fit on the pixel grid with the rest of it? Oop, oop, nope. Y'all just stop. You know, like, when you're in a high-stakes situation like that, you really want to know the moment that planet's going to be done. That one's done, right? Okay, now it's done. See what I'm talking about? Let's go over here. We're casually flowing through the wind. And, like, don't worry about the scan lines going on top. You know, we turn it on. So if we turn it on, that's what we wanted. It's either a full immersion or not. We're getting all into it, or we're playing... Ah! We're getting into it, or we're not. Am I about to beat depth 2? Well, that's cool. Maybe I'm in depth 1. I wasn't entirely paying attention. It's kind of what I gotta do when I'm trying to capture all this stuff. Yo, I'm gonna f shit up. I just gotta... Oh my god, yes. Whoop. Nope, you ain't gonna touch me. You ain't gonna touch me. I'm untouchable. Something about this game just, like, it scratches an itch I didn't know I had. And it just needs that immersion. Like, I really need to feel like I'm in the middle of an arcade game. Oh my god. No, please. Whoop, whoop, sit. Whoop. And the reason why I'm circling the planet is because of, like, the way they drop things. Because you gotta, like, come back through for it. Which is kind of annoying, but also, I don't really know how to fix that unless you just give people infinite pickup range. Which, no, I don't think that's a good idea. Oh my god, please guys, I gotta... Oh, it's almost time. Oh shit, I wasn't looking at the timer. I was just flying around casually. Come on, come on. I paid too much attention to other stuff. Oh, come on. I can do this. Oh, shit. Oh, where's the shopkeep guy? Maybe I can buy some stuff off of him. Maybe it's health. Oh, it wasn't. Oh, God. Oh, nice. So, I was going to do some more traditional observations when I make these videos, but those definitely don't work for everything I'll be looking at, so I'm immediately throwing that whole idea out. I was also going to keep analysis more generalized and send a letter with more specific implementations to the developers. But I got a request to do basically the complete opposite. So instead, what we're going to do is focus on all of the steps that I think the game requires to be truly immaculate. Now, I don't intend to ever be mean on my channel, but because you've done so many incredible pieces of art throughout this game, from working with shader planets to a literal black fucking hole, I have no problem asking you, what the fuck is this? This is your death animation? Is it sentimental? What happened? We need to feel like our death matters, and we should hate ourselves for it. It should be one of the most epic moments in our whole story. We've failed to succeed. Make it explode, shake the screen, blind the player, zoom in slowly, and either go dead silent or have our ears ringing with static or tinnitus, triggering my uncle's war flashbacks, sending him into a seizure, and make sure to add some of that as options and settings, but at least let it explode. We should feel horrible about our failure, and it should be epic, and we should be forced to sit in it. When we design our games, it's best to cater to the dumbest people we want as our audience. It's why I try to turn off my brain and experience it as the dumbest person I could imagine coming across this game. Which is also why I didn't realize there's a planet resource indicator right the hell up here, and And when I first started, I had no idea what I was supposed to do initially. I actually thought my ass was supposed to just go harvest a bunch of planets. I thought that's what I was doing. If you provide an idiot with a bunch of text, they will say, fuck it, go try, lose, throw the game away, and say it sucks. Word of mouth is important, and idiots are always the loudest people. You want anyone who would try it saying it was the best time they've had. If survival is the mission, it needs to be shown in a way where it's absolutely seen before they jump into play, no matter where they start in the game. We can do this similar to a fight scene. We can replace instances of play throughout our game with survive, or we can just slap it in somewhere glaringly obvious at all times. If you're going to create a game that you hope everybody would be willing to play, we really have to explain our games to players like they have barely ever played a game. It's generally important to include a quick mandatory tutorial of some kind, just for any types of mechanics or gameplay that aren't standard across the industry. But even a short video explanation would work just as well for Arcadium. If we were only flying around and shooting things, that's totally fine. People have done that plenty of times. If we're sucking up planets, we need to show them, not tell them how that's done. Players are not Galactus in their off time. You need to come, grab me by the hand, bring me to the water, and put my head under it. Additionally, we could really use like an audio cue and more centralized visual feedback. When players are in a chaotic situation, they're really trying to focus on their character and its surroundings. So it's kind of unintuitive to only have the information in the corner anyway. I don't know the ins and outs of the shader planets, but I think it would be pretty awesome if the rotation of the planet rapidly slowed down to a crawl when it's fully drained. Or, if that's not possible, while draining, just include a additional small bar that's opposite to the resource bar next to the ship. It would feel like the player's ship is literally sucking the planet dry. Or, even better, both. When you have an identity, you have a face that people can remember. Arcadium has great capsule art with the purple space and purple planets, and it brings this insane gameplay trailer. And then we enter on this. Give them what they've seen as the default screen, or at least start on a similar purple. I would also remove the outline from the logo and just add a little glow, but you'll definitely look beautiful. And seriously think about letting players plop down their own choice of planet, maybe even anywhere they want. It would be awesome. They would add a whole different layer to seeking out new planets, and the first planet they land on could replace the default planet, immediately making the game feel like their game. We really want to try to have a solid, unifiable theme. It really helps to immerse the player within the experiences we hope to make them feel. Now, when I select the pixeliest pixel font, it should be difficult for my mom to even read it. It should have larger pixels that are more aligned on grid with the other graphics of the game. When we choose something like scan lines, just cover it all. So long as it still looks good and isn't the default, if it fucks up some of our ability to see things correctly, it was our choice, so it's completely fine. You could even offer a screen, whatever this thing's called, just to really send the experience home packing. I should feel like I'm standing at an arcade cabinet out of time that somehow just feels smoother and more beautiful than the rest. And I think that's what the developer is trying to encapsulate too. Which brings us to the music. It's totally fine for the trailer, but if you want that truly impressive arcade vibe, you have to switch to beepin' and boopin'. Music is an extremely important role in setting the mood and can be a driving factor in what makes it memorable. The music here is relatively generic. It's basically guitar riffs that we've heard 1,000 times. Negotiations have failed just putting out their soundtrack on YouTube, and it really shows what you can do with just some beeps. I even listened to it while I was writing this script. Beepbox is a free resource that has everything you need, and there's a couple really good instructional videos on how to make music, specifically on Beepbox, and also kind of break down a really quick idea of what music theory is, just in case you didn't have that. But if your heart is completely set on the music, at the very least, provide pretty solid beep boop soundtrack version that players can switch to so they can be fully immersed in this arcade experience. I mean, options are always great. The last thing we'll be touching on for this game is, where's the story? It's not always needed to have a story or a complex plot, especially for arcade games, but games always feel better and more satisfying with some sort of narrative. Why are we sucking up planets? Are we the bad people? Who's this guy? Where do I go when I win? Do I just blink out of existence into a different dimension? It really helps sell that whole experience to the player. It feels like you've been provided a purpose, and it heightens your motivation to push forward into the game and just try to reach for the stars. But anyway, my name's Jimmy. This has been a great time. I hope you all learned something here today. And go check out Arcadium Space Odyssey. The demo's available now on Steam, and they're hoping to release the full thing in January. Y'all have a good day.